Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on the video game Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I did kind of do a video already defending the game, but this is going to be a defending video slash review video. And I think I am going to get into the reviewing part first, talking on my overall experience with the game. And then, then just start defending it because the thing is this, there are people out there that don't want to say why they don't like the game because they know that they'll get canceled behind why they don't like the game. And I'm like, to them people, you don't have to. There's so many other games out there where a white character is the star of the game or whatever. If you don't like the fact that a black character is starring in a video game, I'm like, fam, do you know how many video games exist out there where a black person is starring in the video game? I'm saying, like, there's a lot of different video games. That's something where I'm like, even throwing myself in the mix, I ain't gonna say I was the star of the video game, but I look at myself as I was a lead victim in the video. No, I'm trying to think. I can't remember if he had used like AI voices to I gotta play that game again to see if he ever did add me in that game. But no, overall I had a little small role in a shooter game where I played as a victim that got shot and things, and I was like, I had to like imitate a shooting victim. I'm like, I've never been shot before, but I'm like, I guess it would be painful and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I had like some voice work in a video game. I'm like, does that guy deserve to be canceled because of it? No. My thing is this. A video game being canceled should be because the game ain't good, and that's getting into the review of this game. I would have to say Assassin's Creed Shadows is probably, in that fashion of a video game, one of the best video games I played. I need to, and it makes me want to go back and play the other Assassin's Creed games, because I do have access to some of the other Assassin's Creed games. But yeah, Shadows is actually, visually, it's pretty good. Physics, like when fighting and stuff, it's pretty good. I would say that there's probably some things that could be changed, but I don't know, maybe it's because I'm playing it on a mouse and keyboard. The experience is a little bit more difficult. I should just plug up my PC controller and just play it through that. But regardless of the fact, and then switching characters. So that's the thing that I haven't been able to figure out yet, and I don't know if I have access to that yet or not. But regardless, because I don't know how long it takes to overall beat this game. Let me check real quick. How long will it take to beat Assassin's Creed Shadows? It takes around 30 to 40 hours to complete the main story of Assassin's Creed Shadows, but the total time to finish the game can be over 80 hours. That's crazy. So there was like main story, 30 to 40 hours, main story and side content, 60 to 80 hours, discovering all secrets, much longer than 80 hours. So that's how big the game is. So I don't really know exactly where I'm at when it comes to this game, but I know I've been having fun. And the funny thing is that I remember when they very first announced the game and they said that you would be able to play as the first Black Samurai, I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. I've played as him maybe a little bit throughout, like in the beginning of the game, but then afterwards they kind of have it where you're focused on the other character. And I'm more interested in her story than the Black Samurai story, because I'm like, yeah, they have it where it's like she's going through. I ain't gonna spoil the game for nobody, but I will say that there is some drama on her part to where it's like you are gonna be interested. It's like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes down and stuff. But yeah, I'm like, a video game where you get to play. You're pretty much playing two games in one. They have Assassin's Creed Shadows from the Black Samurai's point of view, and then they have Assassin's Creed Shadows from the girl's point of view. So you, in a way, are technically getting two games, and I'm like, yeah, there ain't too many times where games do that. I have to say the last game that kind of did something remotely to that extent, and it ended up being good, and it seemed like you were playing a few different games, was Grand Theft Auto 5. That was, and I don't know, maybe there were some games in between that came out where they kind of had it where you switching around from a bunch of Spider-Man. I did forget about Spider-Man. Spider-Man was pretty good too. That was a game where I'm like, yeah, they can make more of those. They can make more of the Assassin's Creed Shadows, more Grand Theft Auto 5s, but yeah, overall, it's like there is nothing wrong with this game. The game, and that's what I will say about Assassin's Creed Shadows, is that it's not this overly difficult game. Like the battles in there, I'm like, fam, I've had nothing but fun when fighting the enemies in there. I had to say the one and only time, because the mission wasn't designed that way for me to start getting into fights with people, but they did have it set up where I had to be stealthy in the game. So And that was, and so but yeah, I did try to get into it with some of the enemies and instantly got killed. So yeah, I can understand. I'm like, oh, okay, if that's how the mission is designed, that's how the mission is designed. You got games out there where the mission ain't even designed that way, and you still just get killed by enemies after a hit or two. So Elden Ring, for an example, that Black Myth Wukong game. What are some other games out there? Dark Soul, like any video game to that extent. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why don't they, that's one thing that I appreciate with Assassin's Creed Shadows, is that it has the difficulty settings, so you could play the game on story, you could play the game so pretty much like an easy, medium, hard situation. And I'm like, and I do like the fact that they do that in the game, and they don't have it set up where it's like you getting killed first battle, because I'm like, how am I supposed to progress through this game? How am I supposed to, so yeah, it's stuff like that where I'm like, I like things like that about a video game. I like a video game where, they are like, oh, we recognize that there's gonna be people of all different I guess like gaming coming from a lot of different gaming genres, whether it's racing, whether it's other fighting games, shooter games, whatever the case may be, where they're going to be playing this game for the first time. So we want to give everybody an experience, not just the Assassin's Creed veterans. Because I'm like, the last time I sat down and fully played not fully, but got some distance in an Assassin's Creed game was years ago. Back when so that's when Xbox, they decided to start doing that games with gold situation, and I think one of the first few games they gave away was Assassin's Creed 2. That was the last time I had played that, and that was like all the way back in 2015, I think. So yeah, that was the last time I sat down. I think I played a little bit of Black Shadow. Not Black Shadow, Black Flag. I blended. I guess, that could be the name of the next Assassin's Creed game. But anyways, but no, overall, I was like, I did have fun with Assassin's Creed 2. And if I had to compare my experience with 2, then Shadows, 2 is pretty good. Like, I ain't gonna downplay 2 like that. 2 is pretty good. I would say if you're wanting to play an older Assassin's Creed game, like during that time frame, 2 is pretty solid. But in a modern day, Shadows is good. Like, that's the thing where like I said, if it's the gameplay that you're criticizing, like, oh, there's some things that was missing from the other Assassin's Creed game that I would have liked to have seen in this game, then I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm like, gameplay, good. If I had to criticize anything in the game, I'm like, I don't know what to criticize. Like, maybe the animations during the cutscenes of the characters, I guess, like, it just seems too robotic. But I imagine they probably are gonna roll out some updates, polish the game up a little bit more and stuff. Because I'm like, Ubisoft, I think what it is that they didn't want this game to fail. So I think they did as much as they could gameplay wise. And there's like, look, anything else, we just gonna have to work on that in the future and things. But yeah, it comes off, like, I will say that much about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, even though I've only put like 4 hours into the game, it's definitely one of those games where I'm like, I think if I sit down and play this all throughout, I definitely see myself putting more than 80 hours into the game, because you have to sit down and think about, like, there's are going to be them, like, visual moments of the game where it's like, it gets like mad windy, rainy, you want to just kind of like take a moment and look around and stuff and just see how like visually appealing the game is and stuff. But overall, I'm like, the game is decent. I would say that if there's like a toss up between, because I'm like, I've played some games this and it's only been 3 months into the year, but I have played some games this year where I'm like, they decent, they all right, I could see myself playing a lot of it. But Assassin's Creed Shadows, it deserves to be in that conversation, and so overall though, but now cutting into the defending part of this episode, because the thing is this, so for those that don't know, Assassin's Creed Shadows, because there are some people, I was just talking with a friend of mine yesterday, last night when I was playing the game, and he didn't even really know that another Assassin's Creed game was coming out. And I'm like, dang, man, I'm like, how do you not know of that? I'm like, I wanted to question him, but I was like, I ain't going, there's even at times, like, there's some games I've seen, like, there's one streamer that I actually follow where she was playing a game, and I'm like, I never even heard of that game, but all right, I keep an eye out for it and things. But anyways, no, so like that's one thing that people have been saying about the game Assassin's Creed Shadows, is that it's not historically accurate. So the thing is this, for those that don't know, Assassin's Creed Shadows take place in the 1500s. My question is who is alive from the 1500s that can give us an actual accurate storyline of what happened during that time frame? Because even Ubisoft themselves said it, that this is a like pretty much like a fictional, like I don't know, like a fictional non-fiction game, like where it's like it's inspired by true events, but overall it's like it's not going to be historically accurate. I think yeah, Ubisoft, they said that when the game was coming out, because the other character besides the Black Samurai, she's a fictional character. I think yeah, she is overall a fictional character. Hold on for a second, let me just make sure of it that she is. But okay, it's funny, you as soon as you start typing in, it's like Assassin's Creed done popped up. But anyways, it's developed by Nope. Let's see. Do they setting players can switch as they progress through missions? Oh, okay, so it is gonna take me some time, but I plot maybe there's like nope, that ain't it. So there are some characters in the game where it's like it's inspired by actual people, but it's like, yeah, I'm like, but I'm okay. I just want to make sure that the one character, she ain't like a real character. I don't think she is, but I don't know why they won't just, yeah, with video games. When you look up video games on now and Cam new mode called Observe. Okay, let me just look up her name. Is a protagonist in video game Stealth Focus. There's like is now a real person. Let's just see. No. Okay, so yeah, no, she's not an actual real person and things. All right, so but yeah, even Ubisoft was saying that when the game had came out. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, it's like you guys are trying to say that this game isn't historically accurate, and I'm like, okay, so what would a historically accurate game with Assassin's Creed Shadows should be? What should they have done differently? Because I'm saying we don't know what conversations they were having in the 1500s. We don't know what kind of weather they were having in the 1500s unless it's been written out somewhere. We don't know anything about nothing from the 1500s besides stuff that has been written down. So from what I know, I imagine that Assassin's Creed, they or not Assassin's Creed, but Ubisoft, they did their research. They did their history. They're all like, okay, this is how the environment looked. This is what was going down during that time. Let's just have it where it's like some inspired by true events video game where it's, yeah, we know it ain't gonna be historically accurate if they got it where it's like you're a kid. Because my thing is this, like, that's something that I don't think people sit down and think. Somebody turns that game on for like however many hours, like they just kind of like they just go AFK in the game. They just have it where your character is just standing there for like 6-7 hours or something. At what point in time is that accurate? Like, when did that happen? When did they have it where or when the Black Samurai, he just stood there for some 6-7 hours? Even us playing the video game isn't historically, we ain't gonna be doing no historically accurate stuff. We are playing a video game. And so, but no, the funny thing is that people say that, right? They say that the game isn't historically accurate, but they, games like Call of Duty, oh, that's okay. That's okay for them to come out with a, military, mission, or even, what was the one game, Black Hawk Down. I'm like, cause they did come out with a video game of, both of those. I'm like, I imagine them games wasn't historically, accurate. I'm like, games was even visually, at least the old Black Hawk Down, it was even visually accurate. So I'm saying, I'm like, there's a lot of, but it's, what's funny though is that they'll say that Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't historically accurate. So at that point now, all video games gotta be historically accurate, because if that's the case, then I'm like, then people need to stop, doing 360 no scopes in Call of Duty. Because I'm like, that was one of the first like viral videos from Call of Duty, somebody 360 no scoping in Modern Warfare 2, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, when did you guys ever see a soldier do that? I'm like, the thing is this. A game ain't supposed to be historically accurate, because I done played racing games where a Mustang in Forza will sound different than a Mustang in Gran Turismo, and a Mustang in Gran Turismo is going to drive differently than a Mustang in Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown, and then a way that a Mustang looks in Test Drive Unlimited Solo Crown is going to look different than a Mustang in let me think of another Forza. I doubt, because I can't remember if I say Forza Horizon or Motorsports. Regardless of the fact, ain't no game out there gonna be accurate. None whatsoever. So people trying to say that, oh, Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't historically accurate, they don't want to say what they really want to say, but they're all like, they don't like the fact that a black man is starring as the main character of the game. I think there's been times before where they've done that in Assassin's Creed. I think they did say it was like a black woman in one of the older Assassin's Creed games, where it turned out, because I think I remember I looked that up and they said it was like an arcade game, and I'm like, but what they should do, I'm like, instead of coming out with another Assassin's Creed game, because I imagine this is gonna probably sit on the not so much as sit on the shelves, but like people are gonna be playing it for a minute. Next Assassin's Creed they should come out with, it should just be an all black cast. I'm like, Ubisoft, the thing is this, if you guys were to do some stuff like that, you let me know. I would do the voice acting, I would do the motion capture, I would do all of that stuff for free. Just because my thing is this, I when I see stuff like that, it makes me think back. I remember when people were getting on the Little Mermaid because it wasn't quote unquote accurate than the first one. I'm like, fam, it is about a singing mermaid talking to a crab. What's accurate about that movie? Like when you sit down and you actually hear it out and you think about it and stuff, and it's like, dang, I guess he is right on that. Like, it ain't like, fam, even mermaids ain't even my thing is this. If you could go into the water, go deep into the ocean, and you can find me a white mermaid, then I'll stand by you guys and say that they should have redid the Little Mermaid, the new version. But if you can't go into the ocean and can't find no mermaid, or you can't find no strands, no histories, no nothing of no mermaid, then what's that girl's name? Haley Bailey. She had every single God-given right to be the Little Mermaid. The girl can sing. They just had to put on one of them mermaid suits. I think that's either that or they CGI'd it. I don't know. But anyway, she had every God-given right to be the Little Mermaid. So I'm like, if you guys can't find proof of whatever was going down back then during the 1500s in Japan, then I'm like, you guys shouldn't even be talking about a video game being historically accurate or not. Because even the people, and my thing is this, I'm not trying to make no, I guess like disrespectful comments, but because I know people will probably say like, oh, it's Japan that's saying that the game ain't historically accurate. And I'm like, fam, my thing is this. All right, so like, let's say for an example, if somebody in Japan were to come out with a video game that was based on black people, right? And it was supposed to take place let's say they came out with a video game about slavery. That would be a very questionable game to come out with. But overall, though, I'm like, my thing is this. If they're doing it, I guess I don't know, like it's because I feel like that the only way that you could do a game like that is if you're trying to like I guess like put out some sort of information or something. But like, let's say they got I don't know, Michael B. Jordan playing as one of the slaves or something. But no, that's the thing though. Even just like talking on like Michael B. Jordan movies and all that stuff, even movies ain't historically accurate. And you'll have it at times where there'll be like actors or people, like for an example, I remember when the Tupac movie had came out and people are Jada Pinkett Smith. I think there were some other people that said like, oh yeah, that stuff wasn't accurate. I even remember when the one guy, and I ain't trying to like make any disrespectful comments towards him, but I do remember while he was alive, John Singleton, he wanted to add a scene in there where Tupac had got SA'd. I ain't gonna say because I don't know how Spotify, how they are when it comes down to certain words being said and stuff. But they wanted to include a very disturbing scene of Tupac being SA'd in prison. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know of that information? Who told you of that? Like why would you add that in the movie? And the thing is this, like, and you know what? I wouldn't have watched that movie. I probably would have criticized it myself, but it's not going to be something where I'm like, oh, we gotta, you know what, now thinking about it, I probably, because I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I imagine that, yeah, it's like there had to have been somebody around from that time from when he was in prison that could have told us if that had happened. If you're basing it on what, and I'm not trying to make nothing because I know she going through her own stuff too, but if you're going based on what Wendy Williams has said on her radio show back in the 90s, that's not a reliable source. Unless you got like a reliable source, you got concrete evidence that can showcase that. Other than that, if you ain't got it, then it's like, fam, why would you add that into the movie? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so that it would be a little bit more easier to, I guess to try to see if there was any information surrounding that. But if you're going back to the 1500s, I'm like, ain't none of that stuff gonna be historically accurate. So that's why I'm like, if they were to do a movie about slavery, I'm like, there ain't no black people alive to tell no stories about slavery. So I'm like, who am I to say that it ain't gonna be historically accurate? Where I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, and none of us know what was going on during that time frame. I'm pretty sure whatever conversations that they be having in Assassin's Creed, it ain't gonna be a historically accurate conversation. We don't know when that black samurai, before he became a black samurai, but when he had went to Japan for the first time, I had read some stuff about him that they didn't even showcase in the video game. So I'm like, yeah, my thing is this: Ubisoft is telling a story, all right. And if they say that, oh, this is based on a true story, this really happened, this was, like, then I'm like, okay, then I'm like, I don't think that really happened, but okay, if that's what you guys want to say, then cool. But if they're all like inspired by true events, or this video game is based on some actual people in real life, I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're not saying that this is a that this really happened or anything. They're just saying like, yeah, there's gonna be some events where in a way it did happen, but it ain't like they standing they ground or being 10 toes down on the situation. They just came out with a video game. So that's why I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of things out there that ain't historically accurate. And I'm like, even the Tupac's movie, the final cut, there's some stuff in there that didn't accurately happen in like how it happened in real life and things, but it's still, in a way, it was a good movie. I was like, it was an interesting movie. I remember I was in the theaters watching it, and I was like, I was invested, So, yeah, it's like, I think just what it is that people, they need to, if you don't like it, then don't. You ain't got to watch it. You ain't got to, and I even need to work on that myself at times, because I'm like, I know I'll get to looking at stuff, and I'm like, fam, that didn't, why would they add that in the movie? But even then, I'm like, yeah, it's just something where I'm like, you know what, I just need to just go ahead, leave it alone. I'm like, if that's what they wanted to do in that movie, and if they would have did that, I wouldn't have watched that Tupac movie. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that happen. I'm like, because I'm like, if it didn't happen or nobody came out and said we ain't got no proof, why would you guys add some stuff like that in the movie? So yeah, it's something where I'm like, but it's like with a video game, on the other hand, I'm like, I don't know, I think it's a little bit different. It's like, especially then you going back like 500 some years and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I think they were just coming out with a video game and they just needed a story to tell with the video game, because imagine it's just Assassin's Creed but without a story. That's gonna be a pretty boring video game. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe it could have been good, but yeah, I think that I mean, you know what, the funny thing is, it probably would. Like, let's say if it was like, yeah, they came out with this game, it did take place in the 1500s, but overall it's like you just create a character, it still would have been a good game. So yeah, they just decide like, oh, okay, to maybe have it where there's some people that want to just be a little bit more invested in stuff, we gonna add a story with it, and it's gonna involve the first black samurai. So but anyways, yeah, you're gonna have your critics out there. They're gonna be saying whatever they need to say about this game, and I'm like, fam, does it really matter? Like, does it honestly really matter? I'm like, at the end of the day, you don't have to play the game. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.